That's video from the Israeli Special Forces. They're essentially Navy SEALs rescuing some hostages from one of the checkpoints that happened all the way up here, right near the Erez crossing. Happened on Saturday. They just released the video, but it shows you the kind of close-quarter combat that's going to exist on every street corner in Gaza. As we know, the Israelis have closed off much of southern Israel here, getting ready for the ground invasion. It's, what, 2:30 right now there. If they haven't launched tonight, probably tomorrow night or the next night, so they have that cover of darkness. We've talked about this buffer zone that the Israeli tanks are going to have to go through. So all here, all through within about half a mile of the border, the Hamas guys have set up booby traps, tank traps, clear lines of fire for anti-tank missiles and the like. The Israelis have always known about that if they had to go into Gaza. This is what's terrifying them right now, is this video we'll play you. This is the Hamas drones dropping ordnance directly down onto ammunition sites and into observation sites. That is the exact same thing that the Hamas drones are going to do to the Israeli Merkava tanks that was their armor protection as they headed into Gaza in the past. The drones are new. Ehud Olmert, the former prime minister and war hero in Israel, said everything you can imagine and worse is waiting for Israeli troops when they head into Gaza. And we've shown you just how densely packed the streets are. We took a picture just here of a generic street inside Gaza. It is not a pretty place. But think about Israeli squad or troops moving down here, even if they have tanks protecting them. Below are tunnels. Below likely is where the hostages are, but you can also have booby traps, and the Hamas fighters can move in the tunnels themselves. Also, mines and booby traps laid here, not only at street level, but you can put men and equipment up here in the roof decks, because there are a number of buildings in Gaza that are pretty high that would give Hamas clear lines of sight. The booby traps not only exist in the streets, but will exist in each and every building. And remember, the Israelis have to clear each one of these buildings as they move in. The closer they get in terms of combat with Hamas in order to try and protect civilians, the more dangerous it gets for Israeli soldiers. And lastly, the kids. 2 million people in Gaza. Every one of them can be a Hamas lookout, even little kids. And of course, we have not even yet mentioned suicide bombers, which Hamas is famous for. Then we go underground, the tunnel systems, the Gaza Metro, as it is called. The tunnel systems up near Gaza City are extensive. What's really giving the Israelis headaches right now is these tunnels that extend into Israel. These are tunnels that the Israelis know about. You have to imagine with their intelligence failure over the past week that they have to worry that Hamas has a lot of other tunnels and a lot of other capabilities they don't yet know about. General Breedlove is with us, General Philip Breedlove, the 17th Supreme Allied Commander of U.S. forces in Europe. General, it is good to see you. Unknown unknowns is maybe what Donald Rumsfeld would have described some of these things as. Is that why we're seeing this delay in the Israelis launching a ground attack?
Well, first of all, Leland, good to be back on with you. And what a very well done run up to this conversation, because you have aptly described many of the challenges that Israel will face as they go in. Why are they delaying? I don't think it's really a delay. I think what we see is a nation that knows what it faces when it goes through and over those berms and through those walls, and it hits that dense urban area, dense as you described it in buildings and dense in people. And I think what they're doing is what we call preparation of the battlefield. They are setting conditions to the best that they can to have the most successful entry. They're using what intelligence they've gathered. They're trying to hit and strike and protect against all of those booby traps, IEDs, improvised explosive devices. They're anticipating that and preparing the best way in. And when they reach the point where they think it's no more gained by delaying, then they'll go through. This is, as you described, one of the toughest missions that armed forces do.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know if we've ever seen anything like this before. We've seen ground incursions into Gaza in urban combat. You think about sort of the Hamas strongholds in green here. I would assume the Israelis are going to do what they've done before, which is try to cut off the ability of Hamas to move north to south and then move in like this and try to crush them against each other. Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.